Welcome back to financialfreedomodyssey.com. My name is Mark and I'm here with another portfolio update. Let's dive right in. So today we're going to look at the portfolio update for May of 2025. And this is my 9th month in a row of doing these videos. As always, I'm going to take a look at the major indices versus my RRSP. May brought us a bit more stabilization in terms of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. The bulls percentage was at 37.7% on the AAII sentiment survey, meaning that we were tracking more towards the historical average. I'm going to hop over and take a look at what it's sitting at currently. So in the week ending 6/11, we're at 36.7%, so 1% down, 30% neutral, and 33.6% bearish. So I was comparing, I was comparing to this one. So how are we looking there? So less bearish, more neutral, and slightly less bullish. So taking a look at the indices, S&P 500 was up 5.5%. NASDAQ was up an astounding 8%. Dow Jones 3.7%, and TSX 65%. So finally a pretty strong month in the month of May. Looking at my RSP, VDY sitting at 4.81%, so slightly trailing the TSX 60. XAW at 4.45%, so doing pretty well, seeing as it has some emerging markets and that sort of thing. SCHD trailing the Dow Jones once again. Yeah, it hasn't been following as much as I would like, but we're in it for the long game, so we will continue tracking it. And VTI actually ahead of the S&P 500 this month by 0.1%. So all in all, looking pretty good. Still happy with those holdings there. Looking at my moves here. So finally, month of May, a little bit more normalized. Less me dollar cost averaging into my medium term bets or through tax season and that sort of thing. So did my normal spreading out the buys in the TFSA, and this month we did another contribution to the my personal RSP instead of the Spelzel that we did the previous 2 months. As always, we dripped one share of cash in the TFSA, and I bought in equal parts HYLD, QQCL, and HXQ. HYLD, it was still kind of low when I bought it compared to the S&P 500, or like the S&P 500 had risen a lot more than HYLD had. And HYLD, although it's not like a direct one-to-one, it generally tracks this S&P 500, or at least that's the goal of the fund. QQCL and HXQ is just still working on increasing my exposure to the NASDAQ within my TFSA. Taking a look at the TFSA breakdown chart, you can see VDY still the biggest one, with VFV in second and bank in third, I believe. And yeah, then our joint cash, ATF, and yeah, HXQ and QQCL starting to gain. I think I'd like HXQ to surpass cash and bank and kind of get closer to VDY over the longer term. And yeah, another month of me saying the only position that I'm thinking of consolidating is T or TELUS, but we'll see. Splitting into the 2 accounts that I have, this is my primary TFSA and secondary TFSA. Fast forwarding to the RRSP. As I noted here, as per usual, or the past 4 or 5 years, I think, I've typically bought XAW in May and November, and this year is no different. One of the reasons I like doing this is just so kind of prevent me from missing the ex-dividend date that comes in June, and it's a fund that is pays its dividend twice a year, semi-annual. So I usually like to get a little bit more into it to get a little bit more dividend payout. Flipping over to the RSP breakdown, we have VTI dropped a little bit. I think VDY here has, like, the Canadian markets have done better so far in the year compared to the US, so that's contributed to it. Plus, I did that contribution to XAW. So I believe this was a month or two ago. This was close to 50%, so dropping a little bit, but still by far the highest position in my portfolio. So looking at dividend increases and decreases, so TELUS announced that they were going to increase for their next quarter, which is in June, I believe, or this month, I guess, at time of filming. And they went from 402 to 416 each quarter, and QQCL's back up to 295 for May. It went down to 275 last month. And as always, we're going to finish off here with the Fear and Greed Index. So when I took the screenshot on May 30th, we were sitting at 62 in terms of greed, with 63 greed a week ago, 42 fear a month ago, and 45 neutral. Let's take a look at what it is at time of recording. At time of recording, we're sitting at 61, 60 a week ago, 69 a month ago, and 44 a year ago still. So yeah, all in all, we are getting at a frothy market. Oh, sorry for that. I'll just go pop it into full screen here for a second. But I think you could see most of it anyways. So yeah, back to portfolio, just to wrap up here. All in all, I think portfolio is doing pretty well. We'll do another quarterly review in July and just see how I've been tracking. But I think some of the fear, or hopefully the majority of the fear, uncertainty, doubt has been wrapped up, and we've been pretty well up and up for the last, say, 5 or 6 weeks. If there is a bit of a pullback, no worries there. Still in the accumulation phase. So yeah, thanks for stopping by, and cheers.